what's up everybody? This is BLAZERLIKESSODA of the Bonehead Clan, and this is Room for Rent Explained. What I'm going to be doing is try to explain the plot of the Room for Rent series throughout this, throughout these few videos. They're going to be also titled Room for Rent Explained. It'll be Room for Rent 2 Explained, Room for Rent 3 Explained. So you get the idea of what the hell's going on in this show. It's sad that I have to do this because you can't actually understand what's going on in the show, because the show is so poorly put together, it's a piece of crap. But anyway, I did it. I started it, in the 7th grade, and it's like, this is my 3rd video. The first one being stupid. Is it the 3rd one? I mean, it's very early on, okay? Just get that through your head. It was bad, it got better, but when you start with crap, you're still working with crap. So, anyway, I'm just going to give you the idea of what's going on. So, Room for Rent 1 starts out, and there's this guy, John Von Denzel. He owns this big mansion. He's rich. He's got a butler. He smokes weed, because he gets drugs. So who cares? He's rich, whatever, right? So his friends come over and they want to hang out with him. So they say, John, what's up? And John says nothing because his butler answers the door. How would John hear them? Anyway, the butler tells him, yeah, he's in the house. Come on in. And he's like, John, your pals are here. And he says, tell them to fuck off. And then proceeds to invite them in, regardless of him telling them to fuck off. Yeah, I'm going to be cursing throughout this, because this series is known for its cursing and corpses and poor production value, at least as of the early ones. Welcome to Room for Rent. Anyway, they go talk to him, they say hello. Hey, how you doing? Hey, I'm doing great. Nobody gives a crap. Let's smoke some drugs. So they go and they smoke some weed, and then they drink some alcohol, and then they party and play poker. Which they'll be doing soon enough, so calm down. Actually, I've just filled you in through, like, the next couple scenes. Room for Rent, when I first made it, this was like the setup for what I wanted it to be. I wanted Room for Rent to be a sitcom, and it was going to be 3 guys sharing like the same apartment, which didn't come to fruition, which I'm kind of glad, because that sounds dumber than what Room for Rent is, which is pretty dumb to begin with. Like, if somebody looked at this, if you could get somebody to look at this now, they would never know that, well, I mean, hell, I don't even know what, I would say if I looked at this now. If I didn't make this, and I saw this, I wouldn't still be watching this. Not the Room for Rent Explained, but the Room for Rent show. You would never be able to get that this was supposed to be anything. Like, I look at this now, and it's awful. You got crap all over the screen. Notifications pop up because it's Xbox. This is where they're playing poker right here. And soon enough, one notification pops up. I think it's Draco Hero pops up. Anyway, I'm rambling. Yeah, look, right there it is, right there. Just join your fucking party. Fuck 'em. Anyway, John is high and drunk, and they're all high and drunk, and they're playing poker. And for some reason, they all have guns, so he says, there's no way you could possibly beat my hand. And I said, you want to bet? That's not what I said, that's what Bill said. I'm not in the show. I'm the camera. Anyway, he's like, yeah, I bet my whole house that my hand is unbeatable. And he bets his house, he loses, and he gets pissed off, and he starts breaking everything, which is what you see him doing now. Which, later in the show, the house is perfectly fine. because as you know, this is a video game and Windows don't stay broken when you start a new match. You could just make the excuse that the Windows got repaired, I suppose. Anyway, he bets his house, he loses his house, he goes on a fit of rage, he shits on the doorstep, and then the next scene, they say, oh, hey, alright, you lost your house, goodbye. So this is like a case of your friends really aren't your friends, but it's kind of stupid and very poorly done. So they're telling him, alright, we own your house now. Get the fuck out. And he's like, okay, butler, come on. The butler's like, no. Why would I go with you? So he's like, alright, fuck you, and he runs away. And then, ignore the gun. I forgot to just use the camera view. He's going over this way, he's in search of a room for rent, ha 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 ha. And he finds it, he sees a sign. And then the rest of the video is pretty much inaudible. Actually, there isn't really much less of the video. Much less of the video. He's standing there. He says something that I don't even remember what he said. And that's it. Guy's friends come over. Well, let me see if I can sum it up in a sentence. There's a rich guy. His friends come over. He gets drunk. He bets his house in a game of cards. He loses. He goes in a fit of rage. Then he runs off to find an apartment. He finds an apartment. Now he's at that apartment. End of video. If you watch this, you would never be able to get any of that. You're just watching it, so that's why I'm doing Room for Unexplained. A failed sitcom pilot that turned into a full-fledged crap series, which I will be doing an explained of the rest of them, so goodbye. Hey everybody, this is BLAZERLIKESSODA of the Bonehead Clan, and this is Room for Rent 2 Explained, where I will explain the plot of Room for Rent 2, which, as you know, is the sequel to Room for Rent 1, which I explained was crap. So, what do you get when you make a sequel to crap? You get more crap, I guess? Anyway, we focus on John from the last video, John Van Denzel, who he just lost his house in a game of cards because he's a drunken moron. And he was rich, now he's not rich anymore, he has nothing to his name. Except for the apparent guns and heavy weapons he carries around. Anyway, he wakes up in his burnt out apartment now. And there's this guy who shows up. And he says, hey. And John's like, who are you? And he says, hey. Because I don't know how to write dialogue. Well, I didn't know how to write dialogue. I know how to write it better now. I mean, a lot of it's still bad now, but it's better than it was. And, if you see the actual Room for Rent 2 video, you'll notice it's not a real voice, it's a soundboard. It's the soundboard of Bill from Left 4 Dead. The idea came from, there's this guy, So Fallen Films, made an unexpected guest, plays Halo 3, like Captain Price or Marcus Phoenix, so I wanted to take that concept and use it here. But I didn't know what I was doing, so it was shit. Anyway, he shows up, he's like, who are you? He's like, hey, he insults him, and then he burns down the house. And of course, I just take a clip from another game. And that looks like crap. Anyway, so he's like, oh no, my house is burned down. Whatever will I do? I'm angry. And so, instead of shooting this guy who just blew up his house, he says, hey, do you want to help me kill my other friends? And he says, okay. Still realized he's a soundboard. The dialogue isn't that bland. because either way, it's not good. So he's like, yeah, hey, okay. Burns down his house. Hey, you want to help me kill my friends? Sure, I'll help you kill your friends. Alright, we have to get on a train. Okay, now we are on said train. And they take the train. The train scene is shot from the inside and the outside, and it's about 2 minutes of just a train. Because I also, in addition to not knowing how to write dialogue, I didn't know how to make videos. I didn't know how to make them entertaining. So anyway, I'll just do a quick recap. John lost his house in the first video in a game of poker. He made a bet with his friends, and then he lost, so he lost his house. He found an apartment. The guy shows up, he blows up the apartment. Instead of getting mad at the guy who blew up the apartment, he gets angry at his friends and asks the guy who just blew up his new home if he wants to help him kill them. He says yes, because plot and bad writing, and they take a train. Which this whole scene, as I said, goes on for like 2 minutes. And that train takes them to Room for Rent 3. Actually, this is all you see of John and the new guy now. The other guy is Francis. Because, you know, why the fuck not, right? And then we shift to Bill, the guy who won the house. And there's actually no real plot in this one. Like, everything just kind of happens. Here, example. Billy's just standing there. And so he has the butler from the first video come up, and he says, "Butler, I have something very important to tell you." The butler says, "Okay, what is it?" He said, "Here, it's on this piece of paper. Don't let any of the guards see you." He said, "Okay." And, you know, he goes downstairs. He goes on the computer into the files. He looks up this thing. Like, whoa, what is this? It's major. He told me not to let anyone see it. Right? And he logs on, and it's a cancelled Bonehead Clan video. Not necessarily cancelled, just I never uploaded it as its own video. And it's a Batman video. And Bill in the show supposedly made this video. It was just an excuse for me to put it in the show. To show off more stuff and crap I did. You can actually find this video. I think it's the lost footage, and it's called Batman. And there's two versions. There's the standard version and there's the HD version. Which, the HD version isn't really HD, it just looks a hell of a lot better than the original version. Because I redid it, because I still had the old clips I found. I'm like, oh, this is cool. Let me remake it. What it was is, you know, the Joker's walking around. He's like, yeah, I just robbed this place. Hee 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 hee. Oh no, it's Batman. He's gonna stop me. And Batman's like, I will stop you. And he says, no, you won't. And he runs away. And then Batman stops him. And, you know, Batman gets a kill streak. Anyway, the butler watches the video. He goes back up. Bill's like, what'd you think of it? And he said, oh, it was garbage. And he says, what? Screw you. No, it wasn't. He says, yes, it was. No, it wasn't. Yes, it was. You're a ninny wagon. And then, you know, walks away. And then he follows him in anger. So the only important thing, if you can call it important, that happened was, you know, John's in his new crappy apartment. Random guy shows up. He burns down the apartment. John teams up with the guy who just burned down his house to go kill Bill. Haha, kill Bill. And they get on a train. And Bill makes his butler watch a video, which isn't important, but, you know, it happened. Room for Rent 3 Explained.